Now, my next guest worked for the DOJ for over a decade, says Robert Mueller's investigation is an outrageous abuse of power. Now, she is the author of License to Lie, Exposing Corruption in the Department of Justice. Former federal prosecutor Sidney Powell joins us, as well as Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. So the LA Times, Sidney, had this piece. It was brutal to Robert Mueller. Andrew Weissman has the single worst record when you look at Merrill Lynch, Enron, Arthur Andersen. Tens of thousands of people lost their job. A 9-0 Supreme Court reversal of what he did. And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, same thing, a reversal. Innocent people went to jail because he wouldn't allow bail, and they ended up again being exonerated. Also withholding exculpatory evidence in a case. Why would Mueller ever pick somebody with such an atrocious track record if he didn't have an agenda to be kind here, overly aggressive and abuse the power of that office?
You are putting it very politely, Sean. Andrew Weissman is the poster boy for prosecutorial misconduct. He was the driving force behind the indictment of Arthur Andersen, which, as you mentioned, within a week of being unsealed, eradicated a company, a venerable company, and 85,000 jobs worldwide with the stroke of the pen on the indictment itself. Andersen was given the death penalty, only to be reversed 9-0 by the Supreme Court 3 years later.
That never happens, by the way. Not many 9-0 decisions, are there?
No, there are not. And Justice Rehnquist wrote for the court, it was shocking how little criminal culpability the jury instructions required. Mr. Weissman had obtained the conviction by eradicating criminal intent from the jury instructions and persuading the judge to give instructions that simply were devoid of that crucial element.
You write, Greg Jarrett, that Weissman is a notorious lawyer, known for abusive tactics and for weaponizing the law in a ruthless and often unprincipled quest to convict. Innocent people have been victimized by him. His biggest cases, as we've been talking about, reversed.
Yeah, I mean, I think about all the people, tens of thousands of people who lost their jobs because of that man right there over absolutely nothing. And the Merrill Lynch employees who were incarcerated, some of them in solitary confinement before the Fifth Circuit released them. Yes, for nothing. I mean, this is a man who has been accused of threatening witnesses and hiding exculpatory evidence. It is unconscionable. It is unethical.
How does he even have the ability to practice law?
Because there is a syndicate going on within the Department of Justice. Let's call it a cartel, the equivalent of the mob. It's composed of that man, Andrew Weissman, Robert Mueller, James Comey, who has now lost his job, and Rod Rosenstein, who's the Deputy Attorney General. And the fact that all four of them are involved in the Trump-Russia investigation, it should be a cause for concern for every American. They have little credibility because their integrity has been compromised.
Nobody, Sidney, seems to know the power of a prosecutor before a grand jury. We know you can indict a ham sandwich. Why did Mueller pick this team? Obviously, he picked partisan Democrats. We've highlighted that. But picking a guy that is usually ruthless, unprincipled, perhaps even unethical tactics? Why would Mueller do that if he didn't have an agenda here and knowing this guy's background?
Because Weissman is the perfect tool for Mr. Mueller to do exactly what he wants to do. Weissman has a very long history of this, and he and Mueller go way back. They've been working together for at least 20 years. Rosenstein worked for Mueller back in 1990 through 93. Comey has worked with Mueller. They are part of what I call a corrupt cabal of former prosecutors and now current prosecutors again, who are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve whatever they want to achieve. And they define that themselves, not by the facts, but by whatever their goal is.
And the
willing
tactics
to win at any cost.
Well, we'll give you a get-out-of-jail-free card. Just tell us what we want. That doesn't necessarily even have to be true.
You're going to tell us this, and that, or you're going to be indicted.
Let me go to you. You make the connection between Rosenstein and Comey and Mueller and Weissman. This deal like best BFFs.
They are.
All of them.
You know, as I say, it's sort of an illegal syndicate that's acting under the guise of the law.
How can this happen in the United States of America, Greg? This is not a banana republic here.
Because the Department of Justice, and particularly the FBI, and Comey and Mueller were at the FBI, have turned into this renegade rogue deep state that operates under their own rules.
Do you think they're
the
going
law
after,
be damned?
Do they really? They don't want Manafort. They don't want General Flynn. They want Trump.
Yes, and what I worry about are ruthless prosecutors who suborn perjury. What they do is they make promises and threats to defendants. You're going to spend 10 years behind bars unless you sign this statement, and the witness says, but that's a lie, and the prosecutor doesn't seem to care.
Or I'm going to go after your son.
It's extortion. It's bribery. When they do it, it's legal. When you and I do it, it's illegal. It's got to stop.
Sidney, last word. Do you agree with all that?
I do agree with that. He indicted Andrew Fastow's wife. That facilitated Fastow's cooperation. He put young Enron treasurer Ben Glisson in solitary confinement until he was ready to cooperate. He will do anything to get people to say what he wants them to say, and then he'll prove a case with hearsay. That's why there are always conspiracy charges. And we're not seeing mission creep here, Sean. We're seeing creeps on a mission to destabilize and destroy this president.
I have 2 copies of your book coming, thanks to my friend Greg Jarrett. We will read it in full. We will continue to do this investigation. It's scary what they're describing.